Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fans of Skytear. Did you miss us? I know we didn't because we get to see ourselves every single day. I am the commander reporting in once again for duty in the great year of 2023 with my awesome co-host, Zeragul.
Buenos dias, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, we are back with some streaming for you. Last time we were streaming, it was like World Finals, right?
World Finals, yeah.
And that's a long time ago. We are already in March 2023. This is the final of the No Hero Left Behind tournament. So maybe, RG, you could introduce it to the format and then have a small overview about the two setups here.
Absolutely. So the No Heroes Left Behind tournament was introduced by Eric after the first World Championship, which, wow, that's so many years ago now.
Yeah.
Anywho, the idea being we can take a shot of using every single hero throughout a multi-week tournament. And the first year it was wonderful because we had 28 heroes. Last year it was a little bit awkward. We only had 30 heroes, so we did have some duplication. But this year's tournament, we're back to a nice, evenly divisible by 4 number of 32 heroes. And so we had an 8-week tournament wherein you had to play every hero one time and one time only. The outsiders you had to bring.
Okay. We're missing you right now. You fell off, RG. I think what he wanted to say is that the outsiders that you need to bring, you can only bring one outsider per match. And bye bye, IG. I hope you are back soon. So both players bring their own outsiders, and they have to track which outsider they brought to the game, to the match. And after each match, we recorded on at least the state that the outsider was used. So it's the same like with the heroes. You can only use your outsider once in the tournament, if I remember correctly. If not, then please, Giacomo, you could help me out in the chat. But therefore, the players are now forced to use all the heroes possible. So this is a really special form of deck preparation, deck building, and finding some nice solutions for the hero constellations that we are going to see now actually here in this final match setup. So on Riccardo's side, who can be seen here on the downside of the map, like Black's 85. He has left in his hero setup Akuti, Kepiax, Heral, and Shilavi. So he made the decision, or he was able to bring sorry. He was able to bring a yellow setup, generally yellow setup, plus a blue combination. So everything that we know about blue and yellow cards is possible in this constellation here throughout the match for Riccardo. On the other side, we see a setup with Yami, red-yellow, Kumaya, also red-yellow, Miyuki red-yellow, and Kichi red-yellow. So both players were able to, let's say, bring a setup that you're able to use a certain card constellation with. So this could be pretty interesting. We are going to see a lot of yellow cards in this setup here, as it's possible for both players to use yellow cards. Difference now is that we have on Nilrem's side, who is on the upper side of the board, the possibility to use the red cards as well, and on Riccardo's side, we have the possibility of seeing some blue cards as well. So speaking of cards, I'm really sorry that I can't provide you the card setup that you are familiar with. So normally I can put some cards in the down left corner here so that you have the card overview that is of the card that has been actually played. Technically, I had some issues with my streaming software, and ultimately it seems that I didn't have a recovery data available, so I will need to re-implement all those cards and all those setups again, which will take some time actually. So somewhere in the near future, this year hopefully, I can be able to provide you the actual fine setup that you're familiar with, and so that you can enjoy more of the game actually. So I hope we are going to see RG here quickly back joining the game. I don't know, there seems to be some technical issues with his internet connection. What I was talking about, some general setup. We already saw Yami taking out a minion. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in, Giacomo, but normally I was providing the content here in the down left corner, so it was like a more professional setup, let's say. So we see some minion killing here on both sides. First, Yami here on lane number 1. She led from deck, so we don't know what she is going to, or this is, let's say, quite a gamble. Yeah, we need to mention that we are playing with the updated rules version 1.5, so we have some differences, for example, in the cards. So we are going to start with 5 cards in hand into the game, and there is now an outsider phase, for example, at the start of a new round. So there's some differences. So we see, for example, a skirmish with which has been changed, for example, as well by Akuti here. Before moving into the dome, she could throw against Yami a small.
You know what isn't different though?
What is? That you
Comcast
disconnect?
is still sucking. Well, that too. You know, I apologize. It just seems that Comcast decided that that would be a good time to just crash and not let me do anything. So I apologize for that, everyone, but I am back. And would not want to interrupt Zergal's monologue, so please continue as I attempt to jump back into the game.
Yeah, thank you, RG. It's awesome that you're back in the game, and you missed some first move. Minion kill and some leads from deck. So I think what I missed was talking about the win conditions here. So while we are watching round number 1 in the background, we have Showdown, and at Showdown, Kichi actually is the leader here for Nilrem, while Heral is the leader on Riccardo's side of the board, which is pretty interesting. I didn't expect Kichi to be the leader. So this might be the reason why Nilrem is going to take Kichi as last hero here in the activation. Second victory condition is double kill. And last but not least is outflank. So win the lead of control token number 2 3 times. Number 2 is this one here on the right side of our screen. So yeah.
I think See, normally I wonder if it's because you would normally expect someone to be, as a leader, more durable. So you might think perhaps Yami or Kumaya, or perhaps even Miyuki, given that they have a little bit of armor, a little bit more HP. But then at the same time, if you have your leader, you don't necessarily want them to be out in the open, because then they can be focus fired by the enemy team, dropped low, and then set up for an easy kill later on. So by designating Kichi, you know you're going to keep Kichi in the back as he is a mage, and so therefore make it perhaps a little bit more difficult to access your opponent or your leader until you're ready to move him in and potentially take a snipe at the enemy leader.
Yeah, that might be a reason. Yeah, I also could see the advantage of taking ranged heroes as leader. While not for the skirmish, but for normal attacks, for example. I mean, casting cards is the same for every hero, but maybe for the attack it could be, yeah, let's say some sort of help. So yeah, we don't see. We don't see any more minions here. All minions have been killed in the first round. So this is a minion-focused game so far. We have one lead card from hand by Riccardo, which is on Heral actually. Yeah, Heral actually, yes.
Yep, Heral has the lead on hand.
Yeah, which does make sense as it's stated here, located here in lane number 2. So this is the most important lane if you're going for the control objective, actually. Okay, we see a move in skirmish by Shilavi and a lead from?
Going after Miyuki.
Deck. Okay. This was round 1, so let's see. Or you can have a look, please, what the lead cards are going to be. I mean...
Sure, of course. Yep. Well, first,
there's
Nilrem, though, coming with the think, though. Perhaps we have a final play here. Some sort of flux play at the last second here.
Okay, round number 1, red, yellow. What could it be?
Well, you could use some sort of a time warp and step into lane number 3, perhaps. Try to deal some damage to Riccardo's central tower, because Miyuki with a lead from deck probably not going to win against an Akuti plus Shilavi lead from deck. So might have wanted to try to overload 3, but decides to pass on the end. So we're going to go ahead and resolve. Yami, of course, uncontested in lane number 1. Ooh.
Oh, 3 from deck.
That's going right up against the tower.
Nice.
Okay.
So we need to mention with the new rules setup, if you destroy the tower and you still have some damage left, it's going to hurt the Nexus right away. So
yes,
this could also be an interesting strategy here. Heral with a 3 and Kichi also
versus
with a 3. And Kichi,
so a wash in lane 2.
Wow, Kichi was leading from deck.
Yeah. So that's one ultimate out for each of them. We see that Shilavi's ult was used by Heral. Yami is using Kumaya's ult, which probably thematically is one of the coolest ults, and yet practically not one of the ones that are used, as it's fairly easy to stop. And there's Kichi's ult as well, coming from Kumaya. All right, so a lot of ultimates being burned here at the start for leads, which, to be fair, is still a use for them, but means that you don't necessarily have to worry about them in 2 turns once the mana ramps up a little bit, unless we cycle the deck.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice gamble, so to speak. If you just lead from deck and still win the lanes, or at least do a draw. Okay. What about the dome?
It's a draw in the dome. Because yet another card there, actually it was Reeve in this case from Miyuki, and I didn't see what it was, but Shilavi only had a 2 mana, which means that it's a 4/4 push in the dome as well. So we had 1 control win for Nilrem, and then 3 pushes.
Nice. So we are not going to see an outsider phase here at start of round number 2. Who's the outsider actually? I didn't zoom out. I didn't see
the ancient outsider, the good old OG classic.
Okay.
Yep, so unfortunately not going to be appearing this round. Very useful on the Embassy Ruins map, in my opinion, just due to the fact that it is a ranged outsider, has a lot of reach, both with its abilities, its ranged attack, and the effects that it can use to influence the other heroes, having them take worship actions, and then being able to use those to kind of pseudo extend its reach even more. Embassy Ruins is a little bit more compact of a map. At the same time, it is simultaneously compact and spread out, meaning that there are lots of objectives spread out throughout the map, but it is very nice and tightly packed, wherein you're usually close to the action.
Yeah, totally. I think it's a pretty fast-paced map, actually.
I agree.
Besides having 3 lanes, and this doesn't take any speed out of the game. It's
Indeed.
let's say it really helps to speed up the game, because right from the start, 2 of your towers are in danger. One on each of the sides for the players. So this is a fair start. So a mirrored start, and even in the middle, you are already in range of dealing damage to the tower. And as we said, if you have any damage over the amount of HP left of the towers, then it's going to deal directly damage on the Nexus, and the Nexus win could be possible anytime here.
Yes, I definitely think of all the changes we made, I do think that damage overflow from towers to Nexus was probably one of the best, because there was probably nothing less satisfying than smashing the tower that had 1 hit point left with, a victory of 4 or 5, seeing all that damage wasted, and then having your opponent come over and clear all the minions out with a big AoE, such as Wind Blast, a Hokusai ult, something of that nature, and then being like, well, all my work just kind of went to nothing now. So now with this overflow change, you do 1 damage to the tower, you chip away at the Nexus. Sure, your opponent might clean out the minions anyway, but at least that damage has gone through to the Nexus, and you're not dealing with a 5 hit point Nexus.
Yep, absolutely. That's one of the changes I really like as well. So totally, as you mentioned, this is a nice new game mechanic, actually.
Speaking of game mechanics, we noticed that Miyuki was using her game mechanic to cripple Shillavi. We saw during that round, Nilrem goes ahead, worships on Shillavi, putting both the mark and the slow on her, trying to really paralyze Riccardo's team from moving far away. Obviously, the mark will allow Shillavi to will not allow Shillavi to flip on her attacks, which as an assassin, you get that benefit of the double flip. Now Shillavi is forced to do a flat 3 damage before armor considerations come into play if she chooses to attack anyone within 3 range of Miyuki.
Yeah, it's a -1 attack also, as you mentioned, from 4++ down to 3. This really hurts. And as well, she's slowed, so this is going to affect not only the movement, but also the skirmish movement part, let's say.
Yes.
Which is also one of the new mechanics.
Yep. All right. So Kepiax is going to go. Kepiax also crippled from round 1 whenever I was busy fighting with the great fight against the rogue internet, as it were. And Kepiax, probably my favorite new hero that we've seen for a while. Now that Doomies is no longer able to just absorb an entire legion and single-handedly demolish the lane, Kepiax, I like her just because she does a lot of random chip poke damage with her abilities, which I kind of think is really cool. Also, I just like the design that she is a warrior who's not Kenwi.
Did Kepiax now worship? But it's 4 hexes away. 1, 2, 3.
Well, remember, with the worship changes for the Nuptons, you can choose any Nupton ally to generate the illusion off of, and if the illusion has not been played yet, it generates from the matching heroes. So in this case, Kepiax created Akuti's illusion and generated it from Akuti herself.
Yeah, this might be a part that opposing players could stumble over, actually.
Yes.
But I think, yeah, it's reasonable. If it's a little bit, how to say,
unintuitive.
Unintuitive. This might be the case actually, but I think that might be the case with several mechanics at the start of introducing them and updating them. But we need to remember that Riccardo is the game master and rule bender of
I
all
was about
time.
to
So
say.
we need to keep an eye on him that he is not doing something strange with the rules here or with the setup in the match. So yeah.
It might be the 1.6 version of rules. You know, as we mentioned at the beginning, we're currently playing with the what has been christened 1.5 rules update. And perhaps Riccardo has changed things again, and now we're at the 1.6 update, and we're just
Yeah.
now unknowingly debuting them on this stream.
So like 1.51 beta.
Yeah, definitely the beta test. Man, speaking of beta tests, for those of you who are new to the Skytear scene, if you can go back through the archives, find some from the summer of 2020. I know that that's 3 years ago and a lot has changed, but if you want to see some wild live beta testing, how about the frenzy changes that we beta tested during the tournaments in the summer of 2020?
Oh yes, insane times. Wow.
Quadra slash Akimo instant death, anyone? That was the time to be a kill player. We love to see it.
Yeah, dome
But alas, that
piling
is the
and
past.
yeah, blood all over the game, over the
It's true.
battlefield.
But alas, it does not do to dwell on the past, for then we forget to live in the present.
Oh, that was really nice.
Thank you. Occasionally, as they say, a blind squirrel finds a nut.
A blind squirrel. Okay, interestingly enough, in Germany, it's a chicken. A blind chicken finds a corn.
Okay, yeah, so the same idea. Just we
Yes.
use different animals. Fair enough. Very nice. See, and that's one of the reasons that I love casting with you, because we get to see how the proverbs are similar and different between different cultures.
Yes.
Looks like we now have a selection back to the game ready to go. So it appears as though Kumaya is going to make a stand. Kumaya, actually, I think the biggest beneficiary of changes in that she finally has her own illusion. It only took 2 years to get there, but finally she can smokescreen people without having one of the other Noopton characters as part of the lineup. Now the question is, will Nilrem be able to deploy said smokescreen effectively against Riccardo? Let's see. We're going for the move. So we're going to slide. Ooh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Heading over to Heral, who is the leader in Riccardo's team.
Mm-hmm. Does have line of sight to him. One of the interesting things about the Embassy Ruins map, normally on the 2-lane map, on the Ashen Pass map, a lot of times the different segments are completely covered by white lines, which means that line of sight is broken. However, in the Embassy Ruins, the only white line of sight breakers that exist are those that are around the dome, which means that Kumaya, sitting in the red lane, in the middle lane, is able to see Heral, who is sitting in the right lane or the yellow lane. Now, of course, they are both in cover hexes, and so therefore would need to be adjacent to each other, but it does not block out their line. Now, interestingly enough, we do have the token coming down right behind Kepiak. Interesting. Okay. Fair enough. I thought you might want to hide that a little bit more in order to make it not as easy for Riccardo to banish it. Obviously, as long as Kumaya has the line of sight towards any illusion token, the adjacency smokescreen goes off, which means that as it right now, she is going to force Heral to move. Otherwise, Heral will no longer be able to see the yellow side control zone, as his line of sight is now currently 2. Stab him, because why not?
Yeah. Why not?
I guess burn him because it was the worship action. So
Yeah, it was about worship.
And so she's gonna smash him with the burning censer thing. Which, ow! Can you imagine that? Like, you see this crazy lady just coming up to you and swinging a censer at you that crashes and spills flaming embers on you.
What if I say yes?
Great. Then I'm going to open fire on you with a new comment, because now we're going to use the open fire, one of the new cards, probably one of my favorite cards out of the latest expansion. So with open fire, we need to target a friendly minion, and then we deal explosive damage in a breath formation, which means 2 hexes in front of us plus 3 hexes behind those 2 hexes, kind of in a cone shape. So let's see who we're going to designate. I assume
Yeah.
she's
Can
going to
only
designate.
be
Yeah, she has to designate. Yeah, that one right there.
this one in the middle.
So blows up those 2 minions. Explosive damage also hurts heroes. Or did he angle that such that it doesn't? Oh, no. The way he angled it made it so that he didn't hit, what's her name? Kepiax. Okay, never mind. All right, so minions are gone in the middle, and a lead action as well from the deck once again. So Kumaya plus her minion looking pretty strong there. So now Riccardo does have to decide, do we get rid of the illusion, or do we go and spike the minion and try to control the center of the lane? Although, of course, Akuti could come into play. It looks like Akuti is going to go for the double shot on the left side into a lead action. Seems fairly reasonable.
Yeah,
Yep.
the preparation has been done beforehand by KPX.
Yep.
So
there we go. 2 minions down, and then I assume the lead.
deck. Okay. So gamble.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, cards have been or are now more worthy, let's say, because you have less cards in hand. Through the new card draw mechanics, let's say, or different mechanics, as you only draw 1 card at the end of the round. It's still the same mechanic that if you win a control token, then you draw a card, and if you kill a hero, you draw a card as well. But at the end of the round, it's only 1 card instead of 2 cards.
Which is, in my opinion, it's a bit unfortunate, because I think that the playing of the cards makes for the exciting plays, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
I guess it forces you now to be more impactful with your choice making.
Yeah, I mean, this could already start with the deck building. I mean, it has already impacts on the deck building there. As we got noticed about that by some players during the NHLB. And therefore, I think that's one of the things that comes out of the new box here now, let's say. That you now have to consider that you don't draw as many cards as beforehand. Even if you would win everything on the board, it's still 1 less card that you draw at the end of the round. Therefore, cards are in general more valuable. On the other hand, it's a card game as well, not only miniatures, placement game, skirmish game, and they are very important, the cards. So I can also agree on the point that you say, look, we have Yami on Kumaya's illusion. Why can't we play as many cards as beforehand, right?
All right, so interestingly enough, Yami not going to bother. So Nilrem knows that he can't be damaged no matter how badly he loses the blue lane this round due to his win in the round 1. So it looks like he's going to force... Oh, actually, we're just going to attack Hiral. I thought that perhaps... Or worship, excuse me. I thought that we were going to potentially swing Yami into the yellow lane, try to overload that to get the outflank token.
Me too.
But it looks like we're just going to start chipping away. Hiral is down to 14 hit points, setting up. Obviously, Kichi will ignore any armor that Hiral generates, whether from himself or from Akuti's passive. Or, excuse me, Akuti's illusion token. Setting that up for a potential showdown later. Okay, Shillavi, who is crippled and needs to move. So Shillavi cannot attack Oh no, there is one token or one hex exactly that Shillavi can. No, she can't get there because she's slow. Never mind. So no matter where Shillavi goes, she cannot flip against Kichi. She can get there with both move and skirmish, but the only hex that she would be able to avoid Miyuki's cripple aura would be if it was the hex that is directly to the left and below of the towers, but she can't get there as that is 3 hexes away.
Yeah, good point there. Looking at Nilrem's setup for the heroes so far, I think it's pretty crazy to leave the lane on the left side here totally uncontrolled. On the other hand, he was, if you remember, he was thinking about maybe reacting to the end of round number 1. So possibly, as you said, there's a time warp or something in the hand, so he could potentially put Miyuki into the lane number 2 there on the right side. Or Yami, but I think Miyuki could be more worthy because of her lead, potentially. So that could just be an
Riccardo.
option.
Okay, yep. Riccardo went double flip, and Riccardo is actually super lucky that he realized that he doesn't get to flip with Shillavi, as he just flipped 2 ultimates, but realizing, oh, wait a minute, there's no flip because I'm still within Miyuki's within 3 aura, put them back and shuffled them into the deck, so all is well on that front. And now Kichi has to go. So the question becomes, does Kichi move to block Heral from the dome? If you slide Kichi in the hex above Miyuki and Shillavi, then there's no way that Heral gets into the dome without the use of a fast card.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. So potentially you would lose the outsider, or you could maybe lose the outsider through KPX. Through Hera now. Depending on Kichi's movement. This is the hex that you mentioned, actually.
Yes. Yep.
I'm not actually convinced by that one because you start right in the face of Shillavi.
Well, don't forget. Oh no, that's Heral that had 2 tokens on him. Never mind. Okay, yeah, that. Well, Nilrem does get first activation, so he is going to be able to move Kichi away before Shillavi gets to activate. But it is also then turn 3.
Yeah.
So if Shillavi has a reaction, but I'm going to check the graveyard. I'm pretty sure we saw
Shillavi's ultimate. Yeah, I think you mentioned
her
something.
ultimate's already been flipped. Yes. So we don't have to worry about a Dance of the Predator counterattack slashing the old man.
Yeah, but still, there could be other yellow cards that help dealing direct damage through Shillavi herself and even Heral, who's the leader.
Absolutely.
And who could potentially do the showdown move. So this is pretty, let's say, I don't know how to say it. Risky, pretty risky, I think. Pretty risky move there, but yeah.
Now, the interesting thing, too, here is the outsider. Well, I guess, okay, so here's the thing. The outsider could spawn in such a manner where if he spawns in using the hexes above Miyuki and Kichi, then you could shockwave Heral all the way to the bottom of the field, which means that he would be out of range of being able to deal direct damage to Kichi. That doesn't stop the Shillavi problem that you mentioned, but at least it would prevent a potential showdown from triggering.
You mean even at the place where Heral is now?
No. So you see how they're lined up. So if you put Miyuki, like where Miyuki and Kichi are, if you put the outsider 1 hex above Miyuki, 1 hex above Kichi, and then 2 hexes above Miyuki, so 2 inside the dome and 1 outside, then you could just shockwave Heral all the way to the bottom of the screen, moving him 2, and that would put him 4 hexes away from Kichi.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because outsiders are always enemy heroes. And the outsider can't see Herald because Herald is in a cover X.
Oh, yeah. We did. Oh, that's right. We changed that so that you don't get the allied line of sight during the activation.
Yep. So that's not an option, at least at my understanding.
Oh, right. I thought we swapped that, but apparently I'm wrong. Okay. Well. Okay.
Yeah,
back to the drawing board
that's the rule statement in the updated version. So like, one man army, one man army.
Okay.
Yes.
So
please.
the next time that the caster would take damage, deal 2 damage to an adjacent hero instead. So
enemy.
Potentially and yes, an adjacent enemy hero instead. So
no, not hero.
Basically,
enemy.
anyone except
enemy.
Right. Sorry. Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. Well, in this case, it would be a hero because there's no minions. But yes, I should read the card correctly. You are right.
Yeah, but would make total sense. So like, could potentially put it on a minion or could destroy a token or whatever.
Yes. Interesting play here. So that's actually very interesting because Kichi elected to attack Hiral instead of perhaps one of the minions. I thought that Kichi might go for one of the minions to try to thin it out. Redirect. Okay, on to Shillavi. All right.
Wait a second. He redirects his own attack on Shillavi, I think, because one-man army doesn't have a target.
It's caster.
Yeah, that's not a target, so...
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So, oh, no, but we flipped the Neil before me, which I guess is good news if we want big damage, because that puts Shillavi down to 12.
Yes, that hurts.
Okay. Yeah, so Shillavi, I mean, killing her is not necessarily direct advancement towards the win, but less heroes on the board means less actions, which, as the rounds ramp up, could be the difference, especially on this map with, as we talked about, the number of different objective points. If you've only got 3 heroes on the field, then by default, you're going to leave at least one lane completely open for your opponents.
Absolutely. Or you decide to bring all 4 heroes in one spot.
True. And then you leave 3 uncontested.
Yeah, but it's actually not the case here. It's only 1. Because of the small size of the map, which is pretty interesting. You have a control on let's say, from Nilrem's point of view. You have a control in the dome. You have a control in lane number 2, which is on the right side here, a yellow lane. And you also have a control in the red lane, in the middle. Interesting. And those heroes are all adjacent. So what's Hera going to do? I mean, he could
He's going to cry.
Yeah, but he could use his alternate attack, maybe reposition, and
he could smack everyone for 2 damage. That's true.
Yes.
Or he's just going to go ahead and shoot the minion out.
Which
totally
is
fair.
possible. Because as you...
Thrall's not shapeshifted, so he can't use his alternate attack.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, that's 2 marks tokens, and then the turn icon token that was on him. I was going to say, otherwise, that'd make a great target for Purge and Purify or Vendetta.
Oh, yes.
All right, so Hiral does pick off the... Oh, wait a second. Hiral couldn't see that minion.
That
minion was 3 away.
Yeah, and...
and Kamaya's smoke screen is in play.
Smoke screening.
No! The smoke... I mean, to be fair, everyone ignores the smoke screen, so that's why I'm sure that Nilrem missed it, because no one actually remembers to use the ability, since it was pretty much a dead ability for 2 years. But yeah, that minion should not actually have died.
Should be still there, but as we agreed, we don't...
Correct. We do not interfere.
But this is an interesting fact. Okay, what's he doing?
No. He chip damaged against Hiral, skirmished, and then moved.
Sorry, against Kichi.
Or against Kichi, sorry, yeah. Hiral did the skirmish damage against Kichi, moved over. I wonder if he's going to do an end of turn... Oh, no, he already used his mana, so he can't time warp into the dome.
Is this a running like a chicken move?
It looks like it. But what's interesting about this is now Hiral is open and exposed, and now the outsider can look down and say, "Hola, mi amigo," and proceed to shockwave him.
Yeah, you could even put him down on the other side here, on the other dome.
Right. Yep. You could
Hit him,
force
put it
Yami to
here.
worship on him. You could teleport Yami over a little bit closer. All right. Ooh,
No, you
the
can't see
3
him.
lead. Okay.
Ooh, I think those minions need to be repositioned.
Yep. All right. So now the control token in lane 1 goes all the way down. So now the question is, does that minion make a difference in lane... Oh, no, lane 2's first. So that's lane 3 in the middle. So we'll find out if that misplay from Nilrem comes back to cost him. First is lane 2, though. That is Kichi versus Shillavi. So that is a Riccardo victory by 2. There are no leads, so 3-1 there. No damage to the tower, as the token was 4 away. But 1 token, or 1 point on outflanked for Riccardo. 3 for victory. Go ahead and drop one of those for him.
The first one, actually.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's the first token, actually, so...
Oh, for outside, for the outflank. Gotcha, I understand. Yep, okay, and 2 from Kepiax. Ooh. Yeah, that looks like it wait.
Did it matter?
It did, because they're saying it's a push right now, and so it actually should have been Nilrem by 1. It is. Okay. And then Miyuki, of course, will win the control of the dome. She is currently uncontested, which means, rawr, grumble, grumble, it is time for Magic Man to appear. So the question now, of course, is where do we drop the Ancient Outsider? Obviously, the Outsider requires a 3-hex drop. It must be crossing a white line of the dome. You are allowed to use either dome, even though Miyuki was in the right side dome. You are allowed to summon the Outsider using either the left or the right dome, as the dome consists of essentially 2 parts to the same whole. So we will now see where it's going to spawn. Ooh, interesting. It's going to spawn all the way... Okay. It's going to spawn a little bit closer to the action. This makes sense here. So in this case here, I expect it will probably attack Hiral, probably shockwave Hiral to get him closer to Nilrem's death blob, and perhaps draw a card. Oh, maybe not draw a card. He's already at 7.
Yeah, but you're at the start of the round.
Oh, right. Right, that's right. I forgot.
Not the end of the round, it's the start of the round, so you can go above.
So you could overload your hand. Yep.
Which makes sense, because a warship wouldn't work because you can't draw a line of sight to Yami nor Kumaya.
Right.
And
pesky.
Giacomo loves the outsider paint, as it seems to be like a 70s disco.
Absolutely. Dun, 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 dun. No, okay,
no, please, no.
We've already received numerous complaints and at least 1 copyright strike whenever I've tried to sing. So, dropping the Outsider right there. Okay, very nice choice. So, okay. So let's think here. So we can't use any worship actions. No heroes are visible to the Outsider. Yeah, so I assume it has to be attack, shockwave.
Yeah, a 3 plus. Okay, skill number 3 is the card.
That is draw a card. Okay, so we are going to draw a card, which, as we talked about already, we are at the top of round number 3, which means that there's no need to worry about discard down until a lot later. So Nilrem taking advantage of that, trying to open up his options even more. There's the attack action like we suspected, so this will be a 3 plus on Hiral. So Hiral has 2 armor, though. He is in line of sight of Akudi, so 1 damage. A line of sight of the illusion, excuse me, not Akiri herself.
Mm-hmm.
Now the shockwave, I assume, will be the last one. This is a piercing attack. Yep, there's the shockwave, so this is a piercing and a push effect. No damage, though, so only going to actually blast the poor... What is he? Like a centaur? A goat thing? Did we ever establish what he is?
I mean, Giacomo's in the chat. Maybe he could clarify what's sort of, let's say, entity Heral is.
Giacomo, help us out here. What exactly do we call Heral? Is he like a woodman kind of thing, or like some kind of two-legged centaur, or C, neither of the above?
Yeah, I think isn't it called elk? Okay,
An elk?
interesting.
Okay. Got me.
Giacomo, we could hand you over some pictures of elks from Sweden, and
yeah.
I don't think it is the case actually that this.
I mean, maybe once
works,
he shapeshifts, he's an elk. Because I mean, an elk. I mean, the antlers kind of look sort of like it if you go that route. But yeah, an elk is not a bipedal organism.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe like because you know the shapeshifting, obviously. Shillavi turns into the leopard or whatever. Brilvar turns into a porcupine. I know he doesn't actually turn into a porcupine, but I'm going to upset the 3 people that love Brilvar about that. So, you know, I mean, if he transforms into an elk, sure. Great. Unless maybe that's like the standard, but yeah, he as it stands now, I don't know. Anyways, I feel like we're getting caught up on this. Because we have Yami action going on the field here. Yami is going to worship as the first choice action hero. So I assume at this point, Nilrem looks like he's going to make a case for the showdown play here. We do see the 0 on the flip, so this is going to deal 0 damage. Oh, but we have a Lure of the Tainted coming out. One of the new cards that has been buffed one of the cards that has been buffed due to the new rules. Lure of the Tainted allows you to deal X damage to an enemy hero whenever they gain marked. Before, this was useful, but obviously with the limitation of heroes were unable to gain multiple stacks of the same condition. But with the new rule updates, we can keep worshipping on people, keep adding those stacks on them, and keep dealing damage to them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Giacomo isn't going to follow us there, talking about Alex and whatever. He's going to predict Riccardo wins with the Nexus on blue lane this turn, unless he dies now with Lure.
Fair enough. Okay, so Michael suggests that he's a satyr. Yeah, that seems more likely. I would go with, I'll take the satyr argument.
This even sounds more professional than elk.
Elk sounds like something I want for dinner.
Yeah.
All right. But meanwhile, we all have to put dinner plans on hold for right now. We do have some Lure of the Tainted damage being resolved here. Very interesting. We are putting it on Heral. So Yami is going to worship. She'll deal 1 damage to Heral, which of course bounces right off of his armor. Kichi, on the other hand, will not bounce off, as Kichi, as a mage, does deal piercing damage. So I think that they flipped both cards. It looked like they were both 0s for that, so this will be 3 damage piercing, which should put Heral to 9 HP. Excuse me, 8
HP. So Kichi did play this card?
Yes, it is on Kichi.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And important to note, he does still have the Flux. Ooh, and a +2. Okay, so maybe that was... Okay, so apparently there was just a glitch in the system that I thought I saw 2 +0s flash, but apparently I was wrong. So we do see some damage there. So that was the worship damage. Obviously, the Lure of the Tainted damage would resolve. And now we have the worship damaging resolve. So down to 9 HP. Wait, that's not how that order is supposed to go.
Nope. What's going to happen now?
That was the Lure of the Tainted damage, apparently, because Nilrem just pinged. I mean, ultimately, I guess it doesn't matter since Riccardo didn't try to stop it. But I thought that because the lore, well, hold on, yeah, because you worship, they gain the marks, so the lore would trigger. That means the lore damage would go on, unless it's because you can't interrupt the worship action.
Yeah, you can't
anymore?
interrupt the worship. Yeah.
So okay, so that would be then why. Okay, yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah. So that would be why we do that.
Sorry, what?
Oh, Karumo Judgment from Yami. And a refract. Wait.
Sorry,
no.
From Kumaya.
Yeah. So she's gonna duplicate that. So that's gonna kill her all.
Deal 3 piercing damage to each marked hero on the battlefield. Apply mark to all enemy heroes.
Right. So that's gonna deal.
First mark effect. Giacomo. Okay.
Right.
So first the warship and then trigger the cards.
The lore of the Tainted. Yeah, that's what seems to be the case here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still confused why he just did this, because this is going to kill her all, but it's going to be by Kumaya's hand.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it gets him off the field.
Yeah, but killing it by Kichi would make sense. And I think then it was a mistake to play the Lure of the Tainted with Kichi, and then you should have refracted. No, it's not GG because Hera. Okay, why would you play the ultimate? Just let him die and nothing happens. I guess
because he wants. Well, he wants to do something before he dies. I guess because you can't evade Judgment of Karumo's effect since it is a global ability. But I assume that Heral is going to use this to try and get rid of the 2 minions in the center lane before he dies.
Which would make sense, yeah.
Or in lane 2, because you could advance 4 over and get one of the minions in there.
Could he? No.
Oh no, because you have to move through it. So
he could
can't
evade.
Move through his heroes.
Yeah, he could evade it. Like 4 hexes away into the red lane, close to the tower, and then stay there.
Well, you can't dodge Karuma's Judgment because it's a global effect. It doesn't matter where you are at on the field. I'm thinking he's just using this because Heral is dead, so he wants to at least get some value out of Heral before he goes. So this would allow him to blow out.
Wait a second. Each time he gets a mark, then you play the then you trigger the Lure of the Tainted effect. Right?
Correct.
Within 3 hexes for Kichi. And that's, I don't know if it's totally calculated with, you get the, does this work?
Right,
so you get a 3 piercing. You get a 3 piercing.
Yeah, so that actually would have killed a good call. Right. Again, I keep forgetting. Man, this is going to take a while. 3 years and we only had 1 condition per. That actually makes things a lot different. Okay, right. So yeah, that would actually have killed him.
Yeah, sorry, Karumo's Judgment says deal 3 piercing damage to each marked hero on the battlefield, and then apply mark to all enemy heroes. So you would, I mean, in the order, I would say you deal the damage and then you apply it. So he would be down to 3, and with the 3 within 3 hexes. So he's going to escape Kichi now. The lure which Giacomo's referring to, he can evade the within 3 hexes. I actually would have moved Heral up here, close to the enemy tower. Because then, as you said, you could have dealt damage to the minions.
Well, you have to, don't you, with the Wild's Ride, I think you have to, when it's deal 4 damage to all adjacent enemies and push them to.
At the end of the,
movement, right? So you couldn't couldn't both evade Kichi and deal a damage to a minion,
So then the reflect of Karumo's Judgment happens. So he's going to take that. And then I think he is going to die now, but he's not.
Shillavi will die too here, though.
Because
Shillavi takes 3. Well, Shillavi will take 3 damage from being marked already, and then she'll take a Lure of the Tainted. And then it's going to happen
this
again
could be a
because
double
yours
kill.
is
Oh, this could be a double
Oh, it
kill.
could. Yes, it could. This could be double
Oh.
kill, actually. Yes, this might have just turned into double kill.
Yeah, but they're already at the Kruma's Judgment, the last one.
They didn't do lure though, I don't think.
Yeah, couldn't do the lure on. Oh, they did. They did on Shilavi, I think.
Well, they did one. They did.
And
They
now-
did. They did the Kuruma's judgment on Shilavi. Oh no,
And
no, they
now-
did two. Yeah, because she was at 12. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's going to resolve on Shilavi.
Yep. So
And
we
then
still
it's
have the
3
refract.
plus 3, and then it's double kill
Yeah.
through Kichi. Is it? No, it's just
Uh,
double kill within the region.
It just
yeah,
says.
it's just
Yeah, it
single
doesn't have to
hero
be the same
activation.
hero.
So kill Shilavi and it's GG.
Yeah.
And then
Unless he flips a -1 on the lure, because I did see some -1s in his deck.
Ooh.
So here it comes, moment of truth.
Yeah, you need to flip 3 plus
Game
0,
over,
which
there it
is game over. GG. This is
That was
sorry.
awesome.
I'm sorry. This is
It's awesome. Oh, I love it.
Sorry,
I love
what?
it. So the funny thing about this, everyone, is before this stream started, we were talking about whether or not we wanted to put the auto stack on or not, and we said that we should, just in case some kind of weird, crazy combo occurs. And we got to see a weird, crazy combo. That was
so
hilarious.
let's join the players. Give me a
Yes.
second. Yeah, let's join the players. Hello there.
This and this. Hello. I could trigger 2 more Lure of the Tainted if necessary.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of exploding things, right?
Yeah.
My God,
No, that was awesome.
that was awesome. Yeah, I
That
was
was-
totally not seeing that coming.
Yeah, we neither.
blown up my brain. Just
We
blown
didn't
up
see
my
that.
brain. 'Cause I could probably just take the ride before when outsider attacked me, going right there. But I just didn't see that coming. So, so yeah. Boom.
That was
very
a lot
boom.
of damage.
That's like a boom, right?
Yeah.
Nice combo.
Yeah, thanks. I'm very happy the Yami running all the way and then blocking your
I mean,
retreat.
if I could survive, I'm pretty
Oh.
sure I could like destroy something.
Oh, you will have definitely
destroy their Nexus or.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just didn't expect that kind of burst. The fuck, my God. Good play, good game, very well played.
Yeah.
It's
thanks.
It's actually really funny, Riccardo, because Giacomo was in the chat and he was saying, you know, unless Riccardo dies here, I think he's going to be able to win.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I'm shocked. You know.
I mean, that was a lot of damage.
Yeah,
I was shocked the first time I did it. I was very
Mhm.
shocked. Like it was, I told it in the Discord. Like it feels very very strong.
Yeah, I think in like I don't know 2,000 games I've played on this game, it's the really first time I've got surprised by something.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
I mean,
that's-
There it is.
I mean, I
Oh,
always
damn.
saw my defeat or win coming. Something might just kind of a little surprise me, but I did always account for everything in the game. But this time, I was sure with Akuti ult and Era ult, it couldn't pop out like Bamboo Killer or Leader.
Mm.
So I was totally sure I would just win this game at 2-3. Yeah, but you know, there's the first time for everything. So that's my first time of being totally surprised this game. Yeah,
I'm very
Wow.
happy about it.
I just feel owned.
GG,
So,
well
play
played.
this
So
round.
this
Yeah,
is
this round.
this was a really awesome, interesting card combination. I mean,
Yes.
RG and myself, we were like, okay, so now he's trying to escape from the lure, and why is he doing this? Not killing Herald by Kichi. Oh wait, the lure is triggering.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
what is going to trigger first? And wait, Shilabi is
Doesn't
getting
matter.
damaged as well. So this could be the case that she's going to die as well. Oh, this is going to be double kill. So we were like, we didn't get it either. And we were like watching from the outside perspective, and that was wow. Fantastic.
That was wow. Yeah, fantastic.
Well, I'm very happy I got you all mindfucked.
It was fascinating. Yeah, because like as Zergel said, it was a very slow step-by-step process as we pieced together exactly what was happening. Because at first, we thought, okay, the double Kuruma's judgment, it'll kill off Herald. Okay, maybe we're just trying to get for a card advantage. And then we were like, oh no, wait, lore is still active, so we can potentially kill off that there. But then the Wilds run got him out. Oh no, we're just killing everybody on the field. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess now it's a three players tie, and we need to kind of find a way to find a champion, right?
Yeah, the red blob.
The red blob. It is
Red
about
blob.
time.
We'll play a free-for-all map, one against each other in 3 players.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Sure.
I would love it if we could develop like an arena.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be
I
great.
I have a few maps in my mind that we tried a few times for 3 players, so maybe it's a good time to showcase some.
Okay,
some
very nice.
Yeah, maybe you will need to ban or change a few things then, because I don't know what you can do against this if it's actually an arena. Like, where do you run? How do you not die all at once?
Yeah, there's like counterspell. I printed counterspell, but for some reason I'm not playing counterspell. So.
No. I was just saying, didn't you design a card that literally just says no?
Yeah, but I just forgot to put that into the deck.
You thought a one-man army would be enough, but no.
Yeah, I mean a counterspell on refract would have been like a spell game.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have
straight away.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned that lesson, right? So
learning has occurred.
Yeah. You never stop learning.
Exactly.
All right, so I think I'm going to take a consolation dinner right now. So.
Absolutely, yeah. No, you both played very well. Like that was a very fun game to watch.
Absolutely, we had a lot of fun casting the game. And for example, Giacomo was in the chat, pretty active and helping us out with some stuff. Still, I think we got it pretty much to the correct point with the new rules updates and so far, so that some of the listeners and watchers here did get a first glance of the new rules, and I think it was a perfect setup here to provide them to interested players. And it was a pretty interesting matchup, and I was happy to be able to cast it.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for casting that.
Of course.
You're welcome.
Thank you for casting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So maybe Aji, you want to get us some last words to get on the end of the stream.
Yami is OP. That's the last words.
I mean, yes. But before we talk about that, thank you again. Yes, I'd like to thank Zergel for hosting us. And of course, both of our players put on a great show for them. So please, give them a round of applause in the Discord, as this was essentially the de facto championship match of the No Heroes Left Behind League. And of course, we will be bringing on new content for you as the winter edition of the World Qualifier for the 2023 season has begun. So do keep tuned under the announcements channel. Whenever we get a chance to bring you a couple of those games, either live or recorded, we will be sure to let you know to check them out so you can see more Skytear gameplay. And on behalf of Zergel, Nilrem, and Riccardo, thank you very much for joining us, and Yami is OP.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys. Have a nice evening.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.